Greetings, most honorable viewers, and welcome to a video about government types and the advantages and disadvantages of them. Now, we will start with the most common government type in the game, the type France has, which is obviously a monarchy. Now, what are the advantages of monarchies? Well, two very important ones come from the Rights of Man DLC. Abdicating bad rulers to make place for better heirs, or disinheriting heirs to make place for even better heirs. Now, some monarchies, especially the despotic monarchy, not the feudal monarchy, have absolutism bonuses, but they are quite small, and the more important part is they don't lose absolutism, except for the constitutional monarchy and English monarchies. They also generally have nice added states, which became a lot more important at 1.20 with the reduction of total states. And autonomy reductions, although the feudal monarchy does not. A lot of the other ones, such as a constitutional and enlightened despotism, do. Now, if you are a constitutional monarchy like England, the parliament is a very great feature, but this requires a common sense expansion. As well, legitimacy is quite easy to keep high, and it gives all of these nice bonuses, especially the absolutism and the diplomatic reputation are good, but also the tolerance bonuses. Now, of course, the royal marriage is a very important way of getting alliances, even if the country would not accept otherwise. And finally, if you are in the Christian group, you can become Holy Roman Emperor, if and only if you are a monarchy. Now, what are the downsides to monarchies? Well, first of all, the heirs are completely randomly generated, and you only get one choice, unless you want to disinherit, but that costs 50 prestige. If you have Cossacks, I do not, but the estates will sometimes demand more land. Like the feudal monarchy, the nobility will demand more land than usual. Regencies are quite a problem if you don't have rights of man, otherwise they are quite rare, as you can have queen regencies, which are practically just as if you had no regency, because you can just declare wars as you wish. There are also pretender rebels, especially England has a lot of those during the War of the Roses, who are quite well equipped. Most of the time you won't have much trouble with them, but sometimes you can. As well, a very nasty thing is that you lose stability every single time a monarch dies. Now, one more negative is that it is annoying to switch to a different government, as it requires you to fill out certain idea groups. Alright, next up we have the Celestial Empire government that Ming gets at the start of the game, and if you have the Mandate of Heaven DLC, any country that claims emperorship of China. Now, the obvious advantages are establishing tributaries. If you have Mandate of Heaven, all the special things about this government type require Mandate of Heaven. And tributaries are obviously very useful, as they will pay you money, monarch points, and manpower. Now, the second thing is the Empire of China mechanics. Again, I don't have the DLC, so I can't show them here. With things such as the mandate loss. Now this is a double-edged sword. Losing mandate is extremely annoying, and the mechanics overall are bad for blobbing, but good for playing tall. So it depends on your play style. But they can give you quite a bunch of nice bonuses. If you don't have Mandate of Heaven, you do still have the factions. However, they're not that special. They'll give you some nice bonuses though, such as their unjustified demands, diplomatic reputation, construction. This one's not very good. Alright, next up is the Shogunate government. Now what is special about the Shogunate is all of your vassals take up no Diplo slots whatsoever, as you can see. And if you have Mandate of Heaven, you get special vassal actions, because all of the vassals will automatically be daimyo, even if they are not Japanese. If you were to vassalize Ainu or Court Shin, anyone, they'll become your daimyo, which means that you get these special actions, they'll take up no Diplo slots. Now, the disadvantage of this is all of your vassals can fight each other if they so wish, ally each other, and form coalitions against each other without your permission. The last special monarchy I will be talking about is the Tsardom. Now what is special about the Tsardom? Well, they can claim entire states at once for only 25% more spy points. As you can see here, it requires 25 points rather than 20. And if you have Third Rome, they'll have the wonderful Russia mechanics, such as the Metropolis, and the very nice Siberian frontier that you can establish. Which obviously makes colonization way faster. And it's quite a nice government. But after this we'll move on to the republics. Alright, we have Switzerland, which is an administrative republic for republics. Now, what is so special about republics? Well, every time there is an election, you get a guaranteed 4 stats for your monarch, being 114, 411 or 141. And for every re-election, although it will cost you a republican tradition, all monarch stats will be improved by 1. As well, again, you get increased states from being a republic, and often most kinds of republics have very nice economic bonuses, such as the production efficiency that we see here. They also have republican penalties, so reduced penalties for non-accepted cultures, which earns you more tax, manpower, sailors, and reduced unrest in all of the non-accepted cultures. If you have Res Publica, you can easily switch to a monarchy by reducing your republican tradition by constantly re-electing rulers until you become a republican dictatorship. And if your ruler dies after that and you still have less than 50 republican tradition, you'll flip to a monarchy. So you need no idea groups whatsoever. Another nice bonus is, unless your ruler dies in battle, you will have no stability hit upon his death. Downsides are that the absolutism is reduced by 30 for most republics, although there are exceptions to this, and that the bonuses for republican tradition, all it gives is national unrest, which is nowhere near as good as legitimacy. Alright, next up we'll go closer into merchant or Veshy republics. Alright, now Venice is our merchant republic. This also works for Veshy republics such as Pskov and Novgorod. Now what are the advantages? Well, the better you control a trade node, the more extra goods produced you get. I don't know if this is on here somewhere. As well, if you have Respublica, you can build one trading post per trade node, and create trade leagues with one province miners, make trade cities out of which are essentially little client states out of single provinces. And even if, again, requires a Respublica, even if your vassal is not set to transfer trade power, they will still transfer 50% of their trade power because you are a merchant republic. The biggest downside to merchant republics, except for the downsides that affect all republics, such as the absolutism cap, are that you can only have 20 provinces inside of states, otherwise your republican tradition will go down every month. Which is dangerous because it might turn you into a monarchy. And again, you can't swap to a normal republic as easily as you might think. Alright, next up is the theocracy government type, which exists for most religions. You'll find at least one, and Catholic has quite a few in the Holy Roman Empire. Now, what are the advantages? Well, you can choose between 5 if you're not Catholic, or 6 if you are Catholic, randomly generated heirs. So it's like a monarchy, except you get 5 to 6 chances. You also get some nice bonuses for choosing specific heirs, although you also get malices for doing so. And devotion, if you have common sense, gives some nice bonuses to tax and prestige. The bonuses of the government type itself are okay. The tolerance of true faith is quite good, but it's unfortunate that it has to be backed up by this tolerance of heretics malus. Devotion is also quite annoying to keep high. Also, most theocracies, apart from the ordinary theocracy, have fixed government ranks. So this is does not count for the normal theocracy, but it does count for monastic orders, for example, who are fixed at duchy rank, and the papacy is fixed at kingdom rank. You get no boosts to absolutism, but you also get no malices, so generally your absolutism should be fine. And you don't have an easy way out of your government per se. Next up is the steppe nomads government, where obviously the best advantage is you can declare war on any bordering nation for no reason whatsoever, just because you are this government type. And you get a nice cavalry to infantry ratio increase, as you can see here, 25%. If you have Mandate of Heaven, you can also create tributaries, which are very nice because of the generally awful economic situation of hordes, because my army is not maintained right now and not at my force limit. You also get a nice boost to shock damage on all flat terrain. If I grab the simple terrain map mode. Now flat terrain includes steppes, as you can see over here, grasslands as in Theodoro, dry lands as we have here over in Gazgamuk and Shirvan, and desert. But not mountains, woods or marshes. You also get some nice manpower and force limit modifiers, and a very nice boost to hordes is if you have Cossacks you can raise provinces, reducing the development, giving you monarch points, as it is hard to keep up on technology as a horde. And the reason is you have no feudalism embraced. Apart from a few exceptions such as QQ and the Jurchen tribes, you also get reduced institution spread, which kinda sucks considering you have to start embracing an institution right away. And that cavalry and shock sort of wear out by the mid-game, forcing you to switch government by then, which requires you to take a certain idea group, although pretty much anyone should take admin ideas, so it's not that bad. You also have reduced shock on all non-flat terrains, so the terrains that I showed you earlier, woods, marsh, mountains and such. And if you have Cossacks, the tribes is a pretty shitty estate. However, you only have one estate to worry about. And your economy, as I previously said, is generally awful. Alright, we will now be moving on to the last group of governments, which is the Native Council and other tribal government types. Now, pretty much all of the advantages of this government type require conquest of paradise, including migration as a one province minor for Native Americans and Siberian tribes, but not for poor old Circassia here. Unique buildings if you're a Native American tribe, but the major disadvantages do affect Circassia and people without conquest of paradise, such as a reduction to diplomatic relations, generally lack of feudalism, and the fact that primitives can't fabricate claims, although Circassia can, but the Native Americans can't, so they have to get CBs through missions and missions alone, essentially forcing you to switch government, which is about as hard as for steppe nomads. Now that was the discussion. What do you think about the government types? I personally think that the best way to go would be to start as a republic and switch to either a monarchy or a theocracy once the age of absolutism starts, so you can get that sweet absolutism. Now of course monarchies are slightly better at this than theocracies, but the difference is not that big. Although for your min-maxers out there, yeah, it'll definitely go monarchy. Well, leave your answers in the comments below. I'll see you on the next video.